Well, I don't know if you can take a whole lot from that game, but at least it was fun. Avs win over the LA Kings 7-1. There are a couple of things I want to touch on in this video, but for the most part, it's just going to be a highlight reel. One of the things is a few minutes into the first period, Erik Johnson took a puck to the face. He would end up getting pulled out of the rest of the game, and we now know he has a concussion and is confirmed to miss at least the next 2 games, and then hopefully will be back after the All-Star break. Given how inconsistent the Avs defense has been, and the fact that these are 2 pretty important games the Avs have before the break, that definitely hurts a little bit. It's going to be an opportunity for some of the Avs' younger defensemen to step up here, and hopefully they can. Back to this game, the Avs absolutely destroyed the Kings in the first period, outshooting them 16-5. Through the first half, that included a power play that they failed to score on, and it was starting to look like it might be another one of those periods where the Avs will look great but just can't score. Thankfully, Carl Soderberg, yeah, he's pretty good when you give him some decent line mates. A nice passing play through the neutral zone sets up Soderberg for a sweet zone entry. Soderberg actually is going to mishandle this puck coming through the slot area, but the Avs are able to recover off a nice pinch in by Tyson Barrie. Barrie eventually recovers this puck and is going to get it out front where Soderberg has parked himself. He gets it on his forehand and just manages to trickle it through quick. A good start is always welcome. The Avs have really struggled to score that first goal over this poor stretch, and it makes all the difference sometimes. While the Kings were never really much of a threat in the first period, the Avs don't manage to score another one. They go 1-0 into the second period. The one thing they do get is another power play to carry over into the second. And contrary to the struggles the Avs have had in the second so regularly, this is where the fun begins. The top unit quickly capitalizes on that power play. The play starts with the Avs working the perimeter as they regularly do. This puck eventually comes back to Barrie, who makes a nice pass through the seam here down to McKinnon. Then McKinnon opts to hold on to this puck for a little bit and use his skating and stick handling ability to drag a number of Kings players to him. Once they're all dragged to him and looking at him, you can see all 4 Kings players staring right at McKinnon expecting a shot. Honestly, I thought this was a little bit of an overpass when it was happening, but it works out great. A nice little slip pass back to Landeskog, who gets to walk into one and just rip it here. When the Avs forwards are moving their feet and making plays, things look real pretty on the power play. Some of that is likely how passive the Kings' PK was playing, but it should give the Avs an idea of what they can do when they let their forwards work with the puck. That one seems to give the Avs the confidence that they've been lacking quite a bit over the losing stretch, and just like that, the goals start pouring in. A few minutes later, Calvert wins a race to a puck behind the nets. He gets the puck to Kerfoot, who sends it back out up high to Barrie. Barrie's going to walk the blue line a bit before letting a shot go, and you're going to see Kerfoot coming in from off screen for the secondary screen. He gets his stick out there, it gets tipped, and Quick has no chance, never saw it. So up 3-0, the Avs are cruising now, and they do maybe let off the gas a little bit, but not too much at this point, and the Kings shoot themselves in the foot by taking another penalty. And just like I said in the first one, when you let your forwards do their thing, it works out. This is a side-by-side. On the left, you have Rantanen's first goal against the Kings. On the right, you have Rantanen's first ever NHL goal. You're going to see Rantanen's first ever goal. He gets the puck pretty early and fairly easily right onto his stick. Against the Kings, he has to receive this puck off of his skate and kick it to his stick, which he does flawlessly. You can see a little bit of advancement from him there. But then, from here, these plays are almost identical. You're going to see Rantanen do the exact same move after he secures the puck. He gets his head up, is looking through all of his options, does this double scoot move towards the net, and eventually just decides to pull the trigger. Mirror images of each other, except for the Rantanen now maybe looks about 20 pounds bigger, but he just rips that top corner in both. Avs are up by 4-0 at that point. This game is looking in the bag. They do take a penalty shortly after this goal, which is not ideal, but not the end of the world. And given the way this game has gone so far, it honestly didn't even surprise me that much that the Avs pick up the shorty here. Some good aggressive pressure by both Calvert and Dries on the PK forces a turnover. I don't really think they got their sticks on it. It's just a poor play from the Kings. Calvert wins the race to the puck here. His initial attempt doesn't really get much on this, but the puck gets knocked up into the air. Calvert sliding into Quick here. It would be checked checked for goalie interference, but ultimately ruled clean. And Dries does his baseball thing as he has a couple times before this year and knocks this one in out of midair. Kings don't even complete the scoring opportunities on the rest of that power play, and this game is toast. An interesting point on Calvert, he has 6 points in the 8 games the Avs have played in January so far. This has been a season for him that many people have not been sure about how Calvert is really going to fit into this team, and a lot of people felt that he was probably overpriced on his contract. And while I think those things might hold true, he has been producing better lately. The 30-point pace he has himself on is decent. Not amazing, but perfectly acceptable. After that, the Avs basically sit back entirely. The Kings do push hard, but it just doesn't really matter at this point. It does actually get Varley into the game quite a bit. He looked okay. He was making the saves he needed to make, but I didn't think he was moving laterally that well. Even so, getting him some confidence is a good thing too. And in games like this one, even when the Kings are pushing, the Avs somehow manage to flip it on them. This play is actually pretty ugly through the neutral zone. Nieto collects this puck and basically skates right into a trap at the red line. He then goes to dump the puck in, but flubs it initially. Funnily enough, this creates a bit of a delay, which allows Rantanen to jump up into this play. When he finally does chip it into the offensive zone, Rantanen is right there to pull off a great stick lift to take the puck and then just do filthy things one-on-one, nastiness to the backhand, and flip it into the net. Rantanen now moves to 73 points on the season, second in the league. He does have games in hand on Kucherov. Gonna be tough to catch him though. Even so, what we're witnessing here is something really special from Rantanen. For reference, all-time career points per game in an Avalanche jersey goes number 1, Peter Forsberg, number 2, Joe Sakic, number 3, Mikko Rantanen. He's pretty good. Now, there was a bit of scariness after this goal. Afterward, Rantanen came up grimacing a bit and definitely working on his right leg / groin area. He would eventually get pulled out of this game, but turns out he's fine and is good to go. So it's just precautionary and we're all good. For the Kings, the pain wasn't even over yet. Just about a minute later, the Avs at a 7th goal. All those cleared but not out plays that end up costing the Avs, this is what those zone exits are supposed to look like. Get it up the boards, a touch play from Comfort to Soderberg, the Avs are off and running with odd man numbers. He gets it up to Wilson, and Wilson finishes just barely. The rest of this game gets worse for the Kings. They even managed to score a goal in the second period, but it gets reviewed and it's determined that the puck was kicked in. They just got nothing going for them here. The third period did exist. The Avs didn't really care much, though. For reference, they had a power play during the third where they put out bottom sixers with Nikita Zadorov QBing the power play. So that's where this game was at. The only downside here is the Avs do take 2 consecutive penalties, leading to a 5-on-3 for the Kings, and because it's the Avs, there are no shutouts allowed. Pretty standard 5-on-3 stuff here. I just want to point out how active and deep in the zone Doughty gets. This is how you work a 5-on-3. You just keep closing in on the defenders. Eventually, the puck's going to come back up to Kovalchuk, who's going to get in near the top of the circle, and he just blasts one into the net. And the Avs take the Brazil 7-1 as the final, an eerily similar game to the Rangers one not long ago. The confidence factor seemed to be there for the Avs, especially offensively, which is very nice to see, but other than that, it's not a ton to take into the following games from this one. The win is nice though. Take it, don't overthink it, and away we go. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching, and as always, a special thank you to all of my contributors on both PayPal and Patreon. I really do appreciate you guys. If you want to join the ranks of the names you see here, there are links down in the description to do so. I'm Rudo3, and beating the teams you're supposed to feels good.